The reason I'm still scooping this stuff out is because yesterday when I picked out the rotundifolia and replanted it, I completely forgot I trimmed it and just went home. In a fish room with around 50 tanks, you're always prioritising what to do first. I mean, obviously fish health comes first, but after that, there's like always 101 jobs. Take Ember's tank for... Hello, buddy. Take Ember's tank, for instance. There's this awful sort of grottiness in all the corners. I think that's caused by the rock wool in these plants. They've been in there for a few weeks. I'm going to take them out of that and put them in something. I've got an idea. So down here, move that. Oh, I'm going to be using that soon. Coming up. I've got this like hang-on tray thing, but I don't want to put it like on the edge because it actually comes out really far. So I'm going to take it out, put it like in the tank and fill it with substrate or sand or, you know, something like that, and then just put the plant straight into this, and that way it's easy to clean up any mess on the base. It's basically a bare bottom, let's be honest, with a pot. But it means that I can just like take the plants out easily as well because they're not staying in here. Keep saying this, but it is going to happen. I'm doing a setup for Ember, and I'm probably going to get some friends for him as well, but like decent sized ones. So just to be clear, this is very temporary. The water's from the tank, so I put it straight in here. He's gone in. Under no circumstances are we to condone putting a big goldfish in like a tiny bowl. I mean, can you believe that some people actually think that that is okay, like long term? We're gonna be half an hour or so, he'll be absolutely fine. But yeah, people do this. Weird. Excuse the murkiness, we can't really help that, but you probably saw this one floated straight up, this one's staying. That's because I put one of these sort of plant weights around the roots, you know, just attached, pulled the roots through and then put it in, and that's just enabling it to stay down. So I'll do that to all of them. It's just because there's not much sort of substrate there sort of locking it all in, that's all. There we go, not looking too bad, I don't think. Well, better than having them sort of chucked in and just sitting there. Anyway, right, Ember, let's get you back in the tank. Just as I thought, he is popping like crazy. Something about having the green with the orange just works really well. Nice and simple, something you guys can do. I mean, those swords won't be staying in there long because I'm going to be using them in the discus tank. Obviously, swords, discus, they just go together like, well, like something that goes together. So yeah, in my opinion, the best way to handle a goldfish is with your hands. Look at those nice, beautiful fins. If you sort of put a net in there, you risk scratching them, or you could potentially, you know, scratch all the fish's scales. So make sure your hands are wet first, then you can pick them up, and they don't seem to mind at all. Just be gentle with them. Bless. So do you guys remember a couple of videos ago I showed you my plant tank that I forgot to put a timer on? Well, I'd say it's been about 4 days. Let's have a look. Oh, come on. You can't argue with a good boy. Very, very good boy. Yeah, look, everything's clean. I've not removed anything manually here at all. Let me just change the focal length. There we go. The last bit of algae is just on this one. You can see some wispy bits there. Can you? There we go, look, all wispy. That's the last bits. I've searched everywhere else. So remember, I sprayed everything down with glutaraldehyde, which is, you know, CO2 booster. It's effectively bleach, let's be honest. You just spray it down like misting, fill back up again. That's the result. And then I've just been topping it up with like a capful each day as well, because it's a daily use sort of thing that does stuff. It's marketed as CO2 booster. It doesn't add CO2 to your tank. What it does is get rid of algae so that the plants can use the available CO2 in the water column, which clearly is happening because this tank's starting to look great. And look at this, look. So the Rotala HRA is now finally getting the red tips to it. Starts off green, gets red, redder. Not quite as red. Well, it will get as red as that in certain lights. I've actually dimmed the light on this one by putting some black, you can't see it, some black tape across some of the LEDs. It was so bright. Probably didn't help that also I had it on for days, obviously. It's one of those little jobs that I keep walking past thinking, I must trim that moss, and then I forget, and then day 2, I must trim that moss. But finally, I think it's been about 3 weeks, I've finally got around to doing it. There's the moss trimmed, it's made a crazy mess. I need to suck all that out, but also some of the Java fern leaves, look, they need pruning as well, and then a nice big water change. I think I'm probably, hello, he's so cool, isn't he? I literally think he's the best looking better I've ever seen. Right, and also these, the red Ludwigia, look, we can see growing crazy as well. I might just leave it. It looks quite cool. Oh yeah, and that that filter definitely needs some kind of a service. Oh my goodness, this is gross. Look at that. I mean, it's doing its job clearly because the tank's spotlessly clean. Take that out, resurface it. I'm going to keep the sponge after I've cleaned it off in tank water, and then I've got some new sponges to put in. It just needs to come off. But you know what? As disgusting as we think that is, the plants and the tank obviously loved it. I mean, the conditions are perfect. So sometimes what's visually unappealing to us is actually very good. So, Alexa! So there we go, I've cleaned absolutely everything except for the tiny little bit of filter floss that was in there. I'm not going to reuse that, it's pretty gross. You're probably thinking, well, if it was working so well, why are you even cleaning it? I think we can do a better job with some cleaner stuff, and I did just spend a good 20 minutes trying to find that tiny rubber band gaskety thing there. Oh no. Trying to find that rubber gasket thing that slides inside here and allows it, without it just falls out, so it's essential. Right, I'm going to put this back together again. In terms of filter floss, I have purchased these. So we've got like a coarse, a medium and a fine. I'm going to use all 3 in the section and it should work really efficiently. I mean, obviously I don't need that much, but it worked out more cost effective to buy a massive one than the small little ones, in the long run anyway. Quick tip for you guys, never sort of pack your filter floss in. That's in there quite loose, look. Don't pack it in, because if you squeeze everything together, you're actually making it sort of too tight for what it's designed to be, and it won't be as efficient as if it's just placed in. So yeah, it doesn't look the neatest, look, does it? But it will work absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to add in some beneficial bacteria, because obviously that filter's been completely restarted. I'm going to put a good dose in. There we go. Oh no, screw it. The whole lot. I'm putting a whole cap full. And a bit more. Right, all good. I mean, most of the beneficial bacteria is all in everything, because there was barely any sort of sponges inside the filter anyway, so it's actually way more efficient now and should continue to look good for another couple of months. I'll just leave it now and it'll just do its thing.